we're lacking at the 9. Sargent's not giving you any different boost than Haji Wright, and vice versa. I think, and I'm just going to keep saying it until hopefully it happens, that you put Timothy Weah up there. Weah's sharp. He's on point. He can hold up the ball.
Right now.
He's good on the dribble. Just play him there. He's good in space. Haji Wright was supposed to be good in space. He didn't offer much today. And so I think when you look at the upside with Timothy Weah playing as a 9, and you're getting another talented midfielder on the pitch, Reyna or Aaronson, you're essentially getting more opportunities to get chances from different parts of the field. And you're not so much one-dimensional, because Haji Wright isn't going to create anything on his own, and neither is Josh Sargent. Timothy Weah can. And also Reyna could. And also Aaronson could. So that's why I would like to get more of your talented players on the pitch in the attacking half than just continuing to rotate through Sargent, Haji Wright, or Jesus Ferreira.
Yeah. I will say, though, in transition, the first 10 minutes had me nervous, right? When England flipped that switch on, and I actually thought the first 10 minutes the U.S. was good. And then we went into that 10 to 20 minutes window, and England had a few combination plays where they played 1-2 touches, in, out, and they found themselves with beautiful opportunities in and around our box. Now, I wouldn't say opportunities, but they found themselves with momentum on the top of our box multiple times. And then the other part of that I thought was a little bit worrying for me when I think about the Iran game is close to the end of the half. There was nothing for 30 minutes, and then at the 44th, 45th minute, England had just this wave of 2-3 chances that for the first time I was talking to the TV saying, please don't, because I just fear of us making that mistake. We saw the Walker Zimmerman mistake, and it's costly, right? Do you feel like there's anything at risk right now heading into this game? And we'll stick to the recap for the most part, but do you feel that there's any vulnerabilities that the team showed that would suggest to you that getting a result or getting a win against Iran might be harder than we think if they were to play the way they played today?
No. I think I love the fact that he went to win this game and he played his best team. Shout out to Christopher Walken, who is a committed listener and joins the live show. He was thinking, do we make anything of Greg risking, Weston McKennie or Serginho West because they're on yellow cards, or even Tim Ream to that point? No, you don't. You gained a lot because, yes, none of them picked up a yellow, 1, but 2, you prove to the team that you believe in them and that you're trying to win. You're not here to settle. Nothing is guaranteed with that Wales game, with the Iran game. Nothing. You can't predict anything with that game. You have to go and try and win this game so that Iran game wouldn't matter maybe as much or be as significant. If anything, you prove to the team that you're the right guy to lead this group, that we are out to play against the best, and we're going to do everything we can to win. And it showed in the way we played. England did not look good. We outplayed them. We were the better team, and England are World Cup favorites going into this tournament. So I have so much pride. I'm proud of this result. I'm proud of the mentality and the performance. And again, we're what we've seen is that we're lacking a 9. If anything had come out of these 2 games, is we don't have a clinical goal scorer. We don't have someone we can count on that's consistent. So let's put Timothy Weah up there. And welcome to the show, Jimmy Conrad. Cream Cheese is back in the building.
Cream Cheese Conrad, it's good to have you. Hey, Jimmy, Charlie was just going down this route of how bad the U.S. played today, that there was no heart, there was no passion, there was no pride, that they, you'll have to go back and watch it. But yeah, he really let them. But for real, Jimmy, really strong performance. We kind of got to that point. Obviously, there's still the lingering we can't score. There's still the lingering number 9 problem. There was still what I thought the end of the first half where there was a little bit of worrying where we shut off for a bit. There was still that 10 to 20th minute where I thought we were playing a little fearful. But outside of that, if that's what I'm picking apart against one of the favorites in the tournament, it's a pretty good situation to be in, all things considered. What's your take on this match?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys got into the overall themes. I mean, one of the things that I thought was really encouraging was the fact that when the ball got wide, we had numbers in the box consistently. And that's a sign of a healthy team that's trying to do something when the ball gets into the attacking third. And I really appreciated that. And I don't think we talked about it enough maybe coming into this. I don't know if we saw a lot of it against Wales either, but there was a commitment to get forward, a commitment to put England on the back foot. I actually thought, speaking of them really quick, Harry Maguire was excellent. He was, low-hanging fruit, making fun of that guy, but I thought he was probably their best player, which really speaks to how much pressure we were putting them under, that we're picking a center back as their best player in this game. So there's a lot of positives here. Yeah, I think in the first half, I thought we were a little bit too deep, where we dropped off maybe a little bit more when we decided to sit in and give them possession near the half line. I thought maybe we could be a little bit higher. And then they were doing an excellent job of getting in behind Dest and Anthony Robinson and creating these patterns where Pulisic had to go down, defend behind Anthony Robinson. We never want to see that ever. Or we saw Timo Weah having to defend behind Dest. That should never happen. And our team shape is off, and that's happening. But we had halftime, and I think we got that sorted. I didn't see as much of that in the second half. So there were a lot of things that I liked. With regard to the number 9, and I'd like to hear Charlie's thoughts about this, Haji Wright was obviously an interesting inclusion. I still want to see Timo Weah in that spot, and it did seem like we shifted to a 4-4-2 and kind of went a little flat in midfield.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, and I appreciated that. We tried to do something that stifled Trippier and Luke Shaw a little bit, and then there was a real commitment from our central midfielders, Weston McKennie in particular, to try to go help behind if somebody was coming at him. I really enjoyed the energy of the whole team was excellent. And to your point, Heath, you say this a lot, that if we have a lot of guys that are playing 7 or 8 out of 10, we're probably going to get a good result. And I thought we had enough of that tonight. And I was pretty pleased. I'm encouraged. I feel at peace. This is the game that was the hyped up the most ever since we saw the World Cup draw. And I thought we were the better team. Okay, it doesn't reflect in the scoreline, but I thought that we didn't look out of place, and we held our own against one of the best nations in the world, and that should be very hopeful for everybody.
Who's
Jimmy
jingling their microphone here? Sounds like somebody's rough.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was me for a second there, but Charlie, on that, right? One of the things that I liked about the sort of Timo Weah pinching in is that when we actually did have build-up play, there was finally what felt like not triangulation, but a diamond of sorts between the players where you can actually start to combine passes through the middle, which drew England inside and then allowed us to find that space out wide. And I thought that combination play, it's been so long since I've seen the U.S. have that many players in and around the ball where the options made sense, right? It wasn't somebody having to do something brilliant to break the lines. There were just players around it in the right positions on the half turn or to lay the ball off that allowed us to advance the ball forward. Now, Charlie, on the wings, I'm not going to lie. I've spent a lot of time out here with people here in Dubai who've been talking about this Canada team, right? The U.S. team is more known, but nobody knows anything about Canada. Mm-hmm. But what they loved is that Canada on the wings will just eat you up. They just bomb forward with pace, ball in, back, and out, and they go. And I kind of started to feel jealous where I'm like, look at the players we have. Look at the clubs they play at. Why can't we have that type of energy? And yes, some of it is a little bit of that shock and awe of Canada being in a World Cup. But I thought tonight, we actually showed some of that willingness to create and be dangerous on the wings as opposed to creating width for the sake of keeping possession. It was actually advantages. Do you agree with that, or did you say something different there?
Well, I don't think we could ever compete with Canada at the moment with just athleticism, pure athleticism. Tajon Buchanan and Alphonso Davies, those two players in particular are just electric, and they have the top speed are quicker than our wingers and just acceleration. So that is that wow factor when you watch Canada because they play just high risk. Those guys are running and whoever they're playing against, they're going to give you problems. Even if it's not their day, like Tajon Buchanan wasn't the sharpest, but because he's just relentless and he has that pace and that chip on his shoulder, it's very difficult to deal with. And I think if any team in the opening stage that didn't get a result, which team impressed the most, it would be Canada. That was Belgium, and they took it to Belgium. But in terms of the U.S., I think in terms of what Jimmy spoke about, getting down the flanks and Timothy Weah coming inside, not having to just rely on being a winger, which I think supports him playing as a 9, because Weston McKennie now was able to get up the right. Serginho Dest was getting up the right. So even Yunus Musa at times was on the right side. But you have options. It's not one option. You have multiple options, which we didn't have before. And even Matt Turner with his feet, dribbling into the half. I was like, hey, am I imagining things? Are we feeling ourselves? I am so pleased that they took this step forward as a group to play against the top team coming into the group stage in England. Yeah. And being the better team. You're not always going to get the results, but come with everything else. And the fact that we lack a 9, I'm hoping Greg just says, you know what? We have hard workers. but let's get more talent on the pitch, especially against Iran when we need to score. You need a little bit more in the attacking half. That screams to me from the start, Brenden Aaronson.
So you got Timo Weah. I know we're going to go into a full preview, but you
Yeah.
want Timo, like you're saying, put all of our best attackers that we know can score.
Yes.
Instead of going with a traditional goal scorer who's not proving himself right now. Jimmy,
Yeah.
do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I've been clamoring. I've said this before like 18,000 times that I want Timo Weah up there. And I think Haji Wright did the job. I think if the job was what he exactly did, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he hurt us at all. I think he was committed to the cause, and that was important.